Holy crap. Yeah. There have been so many. So you've lived in Miami, right? Did you ever live in Miami or in South Florida?
When I was little.
Okay.
Yeah.
LA, you were living in Southern California. You're living in Moscow now. Where else around the world? Like, I wanted to talk about the different uh, experiences living in different cities around the world, key friendships and different, how they shaped you. I'm getting tongue tied.
Yeah. Yeah, so technically I was born in Peru. I was born in Lima, Peru. But my family immigrated to the United States um very early on. I was about 3 years old, almost four, around that. And I vaguely remember it over there. I do know that this goes back to the the whole hatred of communism in Peru, because there was this group called the Shining Path that was really I think there was a lot of infiltrations there, and I've talked with Franco about this because his family's from there as well. And so
Mm-hmm.
basically a lot of the people there blamed this group for these terrorist attacks, and there were a lot of those people tied to these terrorist attacks. So there was a lot of immigration from there at that point. And so we have family in the United States, and we came to Miami. And I grew up when I was young in Miami with a bunch of Cubans who hate Fidel. And I went to school and I learned Spanish and English, because if I would have gone to a place that didn't really speak Spanish or teach Spanish, I wouldn't know Spanish the way I know it, because you just forget everything when you go to school and everybody speaks English. And so I moved there, and then I moved throughout Florida to St. Petersburg, and then went to New York for about 3 months, New York City, Long Island actually, and then New Jersey, and then St. Louis, Missouri, and then Florida, Orlando, and then I was there for a while. And then I was in LA for the last almost 10 years of my life. I moved to LA. Um, and I was doing writing and also entertainment, doing promotional modeling and a bunch of stuff like acting and all this stuff. And it's just a completely different world. Um, LA than Florida is just two completely different worlds. But it was just, honestly, it got me a lot further away from Hollywood, just seeing how really it was, and like the idea that people have. There was just so much, like, little attention paid to the arts. It was more about a business aspect, and that's what I didn't like about it. It was just, very like business minded. It was very capitalist. It was not about the creativity and the art. And the only reason I didn't go to New York, which I think would have been more fitting for my personality, is because of the weather, because it was so cold. And I have family in Boston, and I spent a winter in Boston where it was like the polar vortex that winter, and it was just, I was like, I cannot live in cold weather. And here I am in Moscow,
Right.
Russia, where it's going to get extremely cold, and I do not know what I'm going to do with myself. But guess what? I'll have really good heating, and I won't have to worry about having my apartment, without heating, which people in Europe do have to worry about. So yeah, that's pretty much. And and living, and I moved around a lot as a kid. I moved to different schools because of that, because my dad's job, um he's basically a computer programmer, so he had a lot of projects throughout, especially the 2000s. So we moved around a lot, and so that really, people thought I was like a military brat, and I'm like, no. But we really just we like, I was always new, so I always had to like make friends and like then leave. And it was just like, you meet different kinds of people, different cultures, different types of people. I've lived in Republican areas. I knew I had, like, some of my best friends were Republicans, were like very conservative Christian types. I've lived in, areas where there's very, very few people of color. And then, so that definitely really just, I couldn't live, when I chose to live somewhere, I couldn't live in like suburban America. I had to live somewhere that had a lot of culture, because that's what I was used to. I was used to like meeting different people. And so LA really fit the bill. And I do miss LA a lot. Actually, I don't really miss Florida at all. I feel at home more in LA because just so much of my life was there, so much of my like just growing up was there, and like I had a lot of friendships there, and just like the realizations of things happen there, and the weather is perfect, and the food is so great. But
Well,
of course, LA turned into something pretty awful during COVID, so that made it a lot easier to leave.